Kirk Frost was just enjoying the atmosphere of a public event, unaware that something shocking was about to unfold. One moment, he was moving through the crowd, nodding at a few familiar faces. The next, chaos erupted. People screamed, cameras flashed, and suddenly, someone lunged at him from the crowd. He lost his balance and felt the ground shift beneath him. The excitement in the air turned to panic. Security rushed in, but the damage had already been done. No one knew whether it was a random attack or something more personal, something much deeper. And why had it happened at that very moment, just when rumors about Kirk's potential departure from love and hip-hop were circulating? Soon enough, the footage of the attack spread online like wildfire. Fans began arguing over the motive. Some believed it was a fan seeking revenge. Others thought it was part of some backstage drama. But what was the real story? What had just transpired, and why was Kirk the target? Kirk Frost had always been associated with drama. His entire career had been built on the chaos and the attention that came with it. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared him for what was about to unfold that night. It was supposed to be another normal public appearance, just another night out. He had been laying low since rumors about his exit from the show had started gaining traction. The tabloids were buzzing, fans were speculating, and everyone was waiting for him to break his silence. But Kirk had kept quiet, letting the rumors run wild. Maybe that had been his mistake. Perhaps staying silent only made things worse. The event was packed with industry insiders, influencers, and loyal fans of love and hip-hop. Kirk made his way through the venue, playing it cool. His name still held weight in the entertainment world, and despite the drama surrounding him, he still had his supporters. But something felt off. There was tension in the air, like something was waiting to explode. Earlier that day, Rashida had warned him. "Be careful, Kirk. People are upset. This whole situation with the show has them feeling some type of way," she'd said. Kirk brushed it off, thinking she was being overly dramatic. But now, as he moved through the venue, he wished he had taken her warning more seriously. His first sign of trouble came when he noticed a group of fans staring at him. At first, he didn't think much of it. He was used to people looking at him, whispering and pointing. It came with the territory. But these fans weren't just looking, they were angry. He could see it in their eyes. One of them, a man in his late 20s, had a stare that sent a chill down Kirk's spine. Something was wrong. Something was about to happen. Then his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number appeared on his screen. "You think you can just walk away from this?" Kirk frowned. He glanced around, trying to see who might have sent it. His gut told him this wasn't just some internet troll messing around. This was serious. His heart started to race, but he tried to push the feeling down. This was just an event, a public space. Nothing could happen here, right? But then it happened. One moment, he was shaking hands, greeting people as usual. The next, the man from the crowd charged forward, breaking through the security barrier. There was no warning, no yelling, no threats, just sudden violence. A fist flew toward his face, and before he could react, pain exploded across his jaw. The force of the hit sent him stumbling backward. The crowd screamed. Security rushed in, but the attacker wasn't done. He lunged at Kirk again, trying to grab him, shouting something that was drowned out by the chaos. Cameras flashed. Phones were up, capturing every second. Within moments, the footage was all over the internet. Kirk barely had time to process what was happening before security tackled the man to the ground, pinning him as he struggled. The attacker's voice cut through the noise. "You ruined everything. You lied," he screamed. The crowd fell silent. This wasn't just a random attack. This was personal. Blood trickled from the corner of Kirk's mouth. Who was this man, and what did he mean by ruined everything? Before he could even begin to piece it together, the police arrived, pushing through the crowd. The man was still shouting as they pulled him away. "Tell the truth, Kirk. You know what you did." Rashida was by his side in an instant, concern etched on her face. "Kirk, are you okay?" she asked, her voice urgent. Kirk wiped the blood from his lip and nodded, but his mind was racing. The whole thing had happened so fast. The cameras were still rolling, and the internet was already buzzing with theories. The attack wasn't just random, it was a message. But from who? And why now? Later that night, Kirk sat in his car, scrolling through his phone. The footage of the attack was everywhere. It was all over Instagram, Twitter, and gossip blogs. The speculation was insane. Some believed the attack was a revenge plot from someone Kirk had wronged in the past. Others thought it was just a publicity stunt to keep his name in the headlines, especially with rumors swirling about his exit from love and hip-hop. But then there were the darker theories, the ones that hit a little too close to home. Some whispered that Kirk had been involved in something dangerous behind the scenes, something that led to the attack. It wasn't just about the show. This attack, they said, was a warning. Kirk's heart sank as he read through the comments. How were people already piecing things together? How did they know so much? Just then, his phone rang. An unknown number flashed on the screen. His heart skipped a beat, but something told him he needed to answer. Hello? Silence. Then a low, calm voice came through. You should have listened, Kirk. Kirk's breath hitched. Who is this? The voice ignored his question. You think you can just walk away? That there won't be consequences? A chill ran down Kirk's spine. I don't know what you're talking about. The voice chuckled. Oh, you will soon enough. The call disconnected. Kirk stared at his phone, his hands trembling. This wasn't just an angry fan. This was something bigger. Something from his past. Something he didn't understand yet. Later that day, Kirk and Rashida met with the police. They weren't questioning him as a suspect, but as a victim. They needed to know if he recognized the man who attacked him, if he had any enemies, or if he had received any threats. Kirk was careful with his answers. He wasn't ready to reveal everything. Not yet. But when one of the detectives flipped open a file and mentioned the attacker's name, Kirk's stomach dropped. Your attacker's name is Jason Carter, the detective said, looking at Kirk. The name sent a shock through him. He hadn't heard that name in years. Rashida shot him a concerned look. Kirk, she whispered. Jason Carter. Of all the people, why him? The detective leaned forward. Jason Carter has no history with love and hip-hop fandom, but he does have a connection to you. Kirk's heart raced. Jason Carter wasn't just a random fan. He had a history with Kirk, and that history was dark. The detective slid a mugshot across the table. The man in the photo was older but still recognizable. Jason had done time in prison, and from what the police had gathered, he blamed Kirk for it. Rashida gasped. What did you do, Kirk? Kirk's chest tightened. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't think. The pieces were starting to fall into place, and it was worse than he'd imagined. This wasn't about love and hip-hop. This wasn't about his firing. This was payback. Revenge. Jason Carter had been locked up for something that went wrong, and Kirk had been involved. But it wasn't just a business deal gone bad. It was something much more personal. Kirk's hands clenched into fists under the table. I didn't set him up, but I didn't save him either, he admitted. The detective's eyes narrowed. So now, years later, he's coming for you. Kirk nodded grimly. He wasn't just facing a past mistake. He was facing a man bent on ruining his life. Jason Carter was back. And this time, he wasn't going to stop until Kirk's world was destroyed. Kirk's mind raced. Jason had left a message, a key to his office. What was he after? What was Jason planning next? It was clear now that Jason was far from finished. They weren't safe. Not anymore. And when Kirk got back to his office, the situation grew even worse. His worst fear was confirmed. The door to his office was open. Someone had been there. There, sitting on his desk, was a black envelope. Inside, there was a message that sent a shiver down his spine. This isn't over, Kirk. Rashida looked at him, fear in her eyes. What does it mean? Kirk didn't answer. He couldn't. He was too consumed with the idea that Jason was not only back, but had been planning this for years. This was just the beginning. Jason Carter wasn't just out for revenge. He was determined to destroy Kirk's entire life. With every passing moment, the danger grew closer. Kirk's life was about to spiral completely out of control. And Jason Carter was right there, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.